soon be with you, my love. Welcome back, everybody. This is Carson from Creationist. And today we're going to go 0 to hero real quick. Today we have GoPro Hero 5. Let's hop in. Okay, first things first, in order to power on the unit, you are going to hit this button on the right side, looking at the screen. You're going to hold that down for about 3 seconds. You're going to see the light indicate, and it's now powered on. Now, I already have my settings on here for default as slow-mo. And the reason I know that is by looking at the FPS. So your slow-mo video you want to shoot at 120. You can actually click that right there. It's all touchscreen. You click it. You have 120, 90, 60, and 24 are going to be your most standard. If it's a low light scenario, nighttime, most likely just choose 60. But if you're shooting daytime, 120 will be perfectly fine. But if we're shooting standard video, you know, just kind of vlog style, moving around, hit 24, okay? And so now we're in 24. That's what all cinematic video is shot in. It's natural motion blur. And if you want to go back to the slow-mo, again, you will click the FPS and then say 60 because we're inside. This is the cool part now. We're shooting everything in full HD, which is 1080. You can bump that up if you want to say 2.7K if you plan on zooming into the footage. Most likely you're just going to stay on 1080. Never go anything below for the most part. I never do. Also, if you swipe down on the screen, it will kind of hide some of the controls so you can focus on the video in front of you. But we're going to tap that. And we can actually see now there's 3 controls in the bottom. First one's resolution, which is if you want 1080, 4K, or anything in between. And then you have FPS, which is if you want to shoot standard video, which is 24, partial slow-mo at 60, and then full slow-mo at 120. And then this last one is field of view, which is how wide this lens is going to be. Most likely for skateboarding, you're going to want to go to something like wide or even super view. This is going to create quite a warp effect, but for most skateboarders, they do like that ultra wide look. But most of the time, whenever I'm shooting 24, your standard video, I will shoot in linear, which just means straight lines, which always looks good in video. But we're going to set it to super view. And then we're gonna go to 120 because we're gonna be shooting some nice, creamy slow-mo. Now we're gonna head over to the next step, which is probably gonna be your most used for showing any progression like a painting, which is going to be not photo, not burst, but time-lapse video. So GoPro makes time-lapsing very easy. So whenever you're choosing your time-lapse, what you're going to choose is your intervals, your resolution, field of view. Just like before we saw in the video settings, it's very similar. So if you're doing about an hour-long time-lapse, you're most likely going to want to do every 30 seconds to a minute. But you do have to think, each 24 pictures is 1 second. So if I was to take a picture every 60 seconds, and that was 24 minutes, that would only be 1 second. So if you want, say, 3 seconds for an hour, you'd most likely want to do a 30-second interval. You gotta do a little bit of math, but I usually do 10. I think 10's a safe area. The thing is, whenever you're taking time lapses, don't stick to just one angle. Like, do 2 seconds at one angle, move the camera, go for 2 seconds. I'm gonna show you everything you can do with this 0 to hero RIdiclous rig.
Dude, that's good. That can film some skate.
Oh, this, I've already thought about some skate. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Field of view, again, you can do super view, but most likely for time lapses, I would do linear. Again, have those lines straight. I would only use super view if you're shooting slow-mo, just to keep it stylistic. That way, whenever they expect super view in the edit, they're gonna know it's about to be a slow-mo shot.
Is super view and a fisheye?
It's a fisheye look.
But that's good for getting like real close, and it's like a style.
Of course. So now we've got how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to shoot standard, how to shoot slow-mo. Do you have any questions on how to change them between the modes? It was the same button as the on and off. Exactly. And then the record button is at the top. You can also take pictures, but I really would think your phone would have better pictures almost.
And you said, and just to be clear, for the time lapse, I should do 30-second intervals.
I do 10. 10 to be safe. If it's gonna be really long, I'd say 30, but I like to change my angles often. Okay, so we're gonna power off the unit by holding this. With the 0 to Hero RIdiclous Rig, we have many different options at play here. So first things first, we have this ball head, and this ball head has a few different options. First one on the bottom is how you're gonna be able to rotate. This is great for if you're vlogging yourself or if you want to vlog others. As well, if you're trying to get low angles for skateboarding, you'd actually want to have it this way. And that's because this handle right here is actually on a hot shoe. You can slide that off, rotate it. Actually, here we go. I'm going to slide down a little bit. You can rotate it, slide it on, and then I'm going to actually bring the GoPro a little more forward. And I'm using the bigger knob right here, and that's how you actually adjust the ball head. The bottom one just rotates the whole unit. So once we have it kind of lean forward, you're like, wow, I'm now shooting the ground. That's not what I want to do. So thankfully, GoPro mounts, you can adjust the tilt to get a low angle. So if I'm shooting low, what I can do is actually take this, sprawl it out, and I can place this down somewhere and then just leave it there, do a trick over it. GoPro can handle a lot. I actually fell off my one wheel and this thing still is holding up. But now that we have this rig right here, we can get real nice and low. Say I'm skateboarding with them, I can get the right shot I need in slow-mo, in that ultra wide. Okay, and another great part about this rig right here is that I added a quick release to the bottom. If you go ahead and just pull on this bottom, it snaps right off. And with that, I can grab my Gorilla Pod. Oh. Intermission. Okay, so now that we have used the quick release to take off that, we can now attach on a Gorilla Pod. As simple as that. And now I can attach this to really anything I want or to use as a counterweight, which will actually give you more stable shots. But what I really like it for is the GoPro can auto detect if it's upside down. So if you saw a tree or something and it's right by a half pipe, just hang that thing right up there and you can get those great shots. And you can all see it on the back of that screen right there. And also, since you're using handheld, you're gonna wanna get the best shots you can because we're not using a stabilizer. And so that's why I also added these little connectors right here. What those connectors do is let you put on have your strap on. You can hold it like this, you know, the standard way, or you can kind of slip it underneath if you want to be a little cooler, kind of have that side sling. And what I do is I rotate my GoPro towards the front, and I just go ahead, snap this bottom one right here, and then snap this one to the top, and this is going to give you more points of contact. You keep one hand on this handle, and then you can kind of just hold the ball head, and you can get some really nice shots that way. As well, you can also hold this, whatever you see fit. But this is actually what I was getting a lot of my shots on my one wheel with, because if I don't want to actually hold it, just throw it aside. And that's the handheld options. Okay, so now we are outside. We want to get some creative angles with the 0 to hero. We got this standard tree right here. Say I'm going to be doing something over on this driveway. What I can actually do is with this ball head, you can actually see that there is an indent, and that's going to come in handy right now because we want to take the GoPro to the next level. First things first, make sure you got a stable mount. I try to also keep that facing where I want to get my shot. So I expand all of the legs, I wrap the top one, I wrap the bottom, and then I just get the middle in between. Also give it a little tug just to make sure. Now, the GoPro is quite a light camera, you're not going to see much shake. Make sure you have a pretty sturdy tree as well. So now, like I was showing you before, we have a small knob which is going to let you rotate. And then we've got this larger one which is going to let you move the ball head freely. Unlock them both and then you'll have as many possibilities as you want. Say I want to shoot right here, get it lined up, tighten the big one, tighten the small one, boom, we got a time lapse, we're ready to go. Alright, so you're using your GoPro, you've got some handheld options, you got some creative shots, now you want to really show the whole road trip. What's a better shot than getting it on the car? So thankfully in this bag I've got prepared the GoPro mount for the car. It's a suction cup. Now I really don't recommend any off-brand suction cups because you are really risking it here. So come over here and I'll show you how to install it. First things first, you're going to want to pop up this and then loosen up this knob. That's the arm that you're going to really be able to get your right shot. You want to kind of get an idea of where your camera is going to be. This is the tilt head and that's the tilt head there. Just to make it simple, we're going to put on the GoPro first. I'm not a hand model right now. Pop that off. Screw it back on so you don't lose it. Okay, so I just want your standard hood shot. We're going to try to get it as centered as possible. Now your GoPro camera is not actually centered. It's left offset. So you want to keep that in mind. I usually look at this spot right on the top of where your hood is. It creates this black hatching just so you don't get so much sun in your face. I always use that as a good indicator. And I go by the lens, not the actual width of the GoPro. Gonna slide it down. About right there is fine. You want to go ahead and get an initial push down on it, but then you want to go ahead and you're going to press this button. And once you press that down, then you can go ahead and lock. Then you are very good. You can trust this. So then, if I want to say get pretty low with it, just like this, don't use those windshield wipers, by the way. Okay, so again, like we had with the handheld option, all you have to do is simply tilt it up and you're good to go. And the cool thing about using any car mount is that it's as simple as 1, 2 on the tabby, 3 pop off and you're good to go. Okay, say we want to get a cool wheel shot right here. Some of your cars, as long as they're pretty flat, you can go ahead and do this. Again, think about where your GoPro is going to be beforehand. Sometimes you might have to go for a vertical shot, but you know, it's a stylistic shot anyway. I think it'll be a-okay. So again, get that initial push, press it, and then go ahead and lock it down. You're good to go. I really don't recommend you go past 50 miles per hour, but it does say it's rated up to 100. That's just what the package says though. But again, we can get some nice slow-mo shots of the wheels. But my all-time favorite shot, pop that up, is the mirror shot. It doesn't get better than that one. I really like to make sure I'm showing off my mirror as well as all of the surroundings. And it's just like this is one of the few shots that you can really get. You kind of have to play with it to really get that right angle. And this is a case where you want to use just the upside down feature. So again, think about where it is relevant to it. And that's the car mount on the 0 to hero mount. Let's do it. Now, a trip would not be a good one if you're not prepared. So I do have 2 extra batteries just in case. I really recommend you buy the dual charger just because you will have to actually charge the GoPro batteries in the unit itself, which is really a hassle. But make sure you have your charger, and I actually use one of these iPad blocks. And if you ever need an extra SD card, say for your real camera, it's going to be right here. I actually keep them hidden inside of these bodies. Thank you to everybody who has made it this far to the video. I know this was a long one. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. And I just want to give a big thanks to Aaron. Thank you for filming this video. I really think it took the production level really up a few bars even. I will catch you guys in the next one. This has been Carson from Creationists. Peace.